Welcome to Market Matters. I'm Nadia Hassan together with Sulhi Azman. It's been a very interesting day. Of course, we're in the eve of a public holiday. I think a lot of people have either taken the long weekend or gone off. I went to New Central earlier. My God, there are a lot of people. There's nobody kind of work around here, but it's a big thing happening regionally. What happened in Myanmar I was on the edge of my seat watching it.
Well, Nadia, big things happening in Myanmar today with Aung San Suu Kyi, the National League for Democracy leader, has won a landslide victory in the country's historic election today. This could spell the end of military and junta rule. And I understand you like Aung San Suu Kyi?
Well, actually, as much as I can admire any woman who's actually in power. But talking about women in power, just a random little note, since it is the eve of a public holiday, Deepavali tomorrow. Today's Google Doodle, if you're using Google today, is Hedy Lamarr. She was actually a huge movie star, gorgeous as anything. But here's what's interesting about her. She actually helped invent the technology that is used in your smartphone. This is a lady who would have been 101 today. So big things. But anyway, moving on to more local stuff, talking about FBM KLCI. It actually ended marginally higher at 1,686 points, 0.41 points for you who want to be particular. And of course, we had a couple of interesting economic numbers. Malaysia's September 3Q industrial output rose by 5.1%. I think it defied a lot of expectations on manufacturing, mining, and electricity output.
Yeah, correct. And also to add to that, strong exports to countries such as Singapore, which grew by 10%, China, Thailand, and US. But there was a slight decline though when it comes to Japan. The trade numbers were a little bit down by 8%, India by minus 20%, and Indonesia by 10% down. But anyway, MISC today has a fund flow research. The weekly research says that last week foreign investors were net buyers, purchasing some 62.8 million ringgit in the equity market, and foreign investors were also diverted to China as it seek opportunity there. And I think MIDF reckons that there will be a third quarter GDP numbers which will be out by this Friday, and hopefully Tan Sri Zati will be giving out some good numbers for the public to digest.
Well, we'll have to see. Singapore DBS research actually expects GDP to grow about 4.6%, full year GDP to grow around 4.8%, which of course is still quite mild. They expect MIDF expects aggregate adjusted earnings, just to be very, very fancy, to about, stocks may increase 16% quarter on quarter, 8.5% year on year. I still think that's highly optimistic, mostly because I was reading on CNBC how actually the drums for the December rate hike just go louder and louder and louder, so it's quite big. But regionally, looking at Nikkei, they were up about 1.96%, and Shanghai in general also closed about 1.58%. They will have a full trading week, we will not. Let's move on to our hot stock of the day, won't we, Sulhi? So what is it today?
Well, today we have Bumi Armada Berhad. The stock was up 11% or 11.5 cents to close at about RM1.11 today. Now, the share price, Nadia, has rebounded by 51% since end August this year because they were affected by the slump in the oil price. But today, it was the most active stock with 98 million shares traded. Now, on the news front, right, there was a news report saying that there might be some consolidation happening.
Yeah, exactly. So this was, well, it's market rumors, it's market talk, how it's actually. The fact is, they and MISC might become, well, let's get married. Why
sisters,
not? Yeah. Well, not
husband
sisters.
and
I think
wife.
Husband and wife more than anything else. Because the way that the report was phrased, it looked like MISC is actually going to become the large shareholder in Bumi Armada. And what it does is, because both of them have FPSOs or flowing, what do you call it? Sorry,
floating production, storage, and offloading.
Thank you very much for that. They might actually merge together and make a gigantic super tanker. That is what the rumors are saying.
Exactly. If you look at the graphics in front of you now, and you have fleet side of Bumi Armada Berhad, they have a fleet side of more than 45 vessels, and MISC has more than 129 vessels. And this, the marriage will be a very possible marriage. Will be very
coffee.
Good on that. Now we have two research houses with three different analysts covering on the stocks. Now HLIB Research says that on MISC they have a target price of 10.06%. Now Daniel Wong said he is a little bit relatively negative on the consolidation because MISC will be exposed to Bumi Armada, and Bumi Armada, as you know, has large exposure to oil and gas, which is not so very exciting these days.
Well, MISC in general has exposure to oil and gas. And for me, aside from what the analysts are saying, when I saw this news, all I can think of was MISC is actually working to streamline itself. After the failed privatization with Petronas, they are actually, of course, they disposed of Northport, they're trying to bring it all home. Well, this kind of marriage, especially with something as big as Bumi Armada, will it actually be what their plan is? So of course they haven't confirmed this yet. So at the moment we're all just spitballing a little bit. What else is? CIMB Research, they said they themselves are positive on the deal because they said MISC is going to have this big muscle to actually now go into overseas jobs because Bumi Armada, of course, has a very big overseas presence.
And in turn, Bumi Armada can leverage MISC to back for local jobs. But anyway, if you look at the earnings, right, Bumi Armada has been loss-making as well.
Yeah, it's currently loss-making. What a change from last year. I think it just hit them really, really hard. So because of that, But Bumi Armada's not in trouble. You know, they're not, at least from what we read, they're not actually massively in trouble. Will this be good for them?
I think that we saw, because if you look at the cash balance, right, they are very rich. Last year they did fundraising activities and so on.
Okay, so just to bring it all home, the fact is Bumi Armada was jumping today on the very simple reason that there was reports that MISC wants to consolidate their FPSO. Analysts are decidedly mixed. HLIB cautious, CIMB bit more positive, but I think all are waiting for an official word, which I haven't heard yet. But moving on to our, stocks with momentum, stock momentum, we're looking at property today. Damansara Realty Berhad, pegged as negative momentum by the Edge Research, which is really, really funny because the stock actually closed 10% higher at 98 cents, but it had an Umar curry last week, which I think has made people a little squeaked.
Yes, correct. And last week, the company was issued by Umar Kurib from the Bursa Malaysia after the stock gained by substantial amount. Sorry about that. And Damansara Realty has said that it was not aware for the possible rise in share price, but it said maybe because people are getting excited about this project called bidding for the Project Perumahan Penjara Awam 1 Malaysia, or PPA1M, if you want to be a bit mouthful about that. Yeah.
So the fact is, in budget 2016, our Prime Minister did say the government has planned to build about 100,000 houses, 90,000 to 300,000. That's going to be a big thing for them. I mean, the thing is, we don't know if they actually have the project yet. All of this is conjecture. So we just have to see how much this actually is going to kind of push. So they actually have a stable income from parking management contribution. It's about 54% of revenue. That's huge.
That's huge, considering you only have made from parking.
Exactly. We all complain how much we pay about parking. The current building that we're in right now, it's something like RM1 an hour, and I think a lot of people park illegally on the side. So I don't know. I think people, when they build shopping malls, I don't understand the high hikes when it comes to kind of parking. So, but in the meantime, we don't see any kind of boost for them, because if you look at the earnings, definitely they're loss-making. They actually saw a drop in top line. So is this move precursor to something else? And that's why I think the negative momentum, because you don't see any news that will push it further.
Correct, and of course, if you look at the other side of it, Damansara Realty, they also are banking on the property project in Johor with a GDV of 10 billion ringgit that will last for the next 10 years. And of course, this will leverage on the former substantial shareholder of Johor Corp. Now, you have to understand, Damansara Realty, they have a change in shareholders before, and earlier this year, they are establishing a joint venture project with Papua New Guinea to construct some 500-bed hospitals there.
Papua New Guinea,
of all the places, yes.
Yeah, exactly, correct. Papua New Guinea. But anyway, just to sort of bring it all home, pegged as negative momentum by the Edge Research is Damansara Realty. If you want to see the full list, of course, go over to the edgemarkets.com. Apparently, the rumor is that they're going to be the big guys who are going to build this huge amount of sort of cheap, low-cost housing. But of course, nothing has been told yet. Already had an Umar curry, but we need to see how much is development, whether or not this is actually going to be a big development for them.